Brought to you by Rush TV.
Hello and welcome to the Turnbuckle, OCWFED's #1 place for OCW news and more. I'm your host Tammy Young, and this past week has been jam-packed with matches and moments from events that took place on the 18th anniversary show to the amazing return of Ambition. As the show has a lot to go over this week, we'll skip the injury reports this week as there haven't been many updates this time around. First up, we have OCWFED's 18th anniversary show, which took place on Saturday, February 25th. The show was placed high in the rankings of OCW fan base, as some put it close in the rankings to almost a Resolution or Red Sun Rising. We are going to be shotgunning these events due to the amount of content on the shows, so let's go! First, we had tag team action as the team of MAXX Storage going head-to-head against the tag team champion SANCTUM. The four men put up one hell of a fight as the battle raged between the two groups. Many wondered if these two groups would have enough energy in them following that Donnybrook brawl that took place previously. We don't know if that event had much effect on the match, but everything came to an end as Colin Locke tagged in Max Edward to finish off James Fraser with the climax for the 1-2-3, crowning MAXX Storage your new tag team champions. Following our tag team match action, we have the dojo battle of DRAGANA CESAR versus JASMIN CAW. In a battle Mina expected to be pretty one-side in DRAGANA's favor, but JASMIN came with her fighting gloves on as the two women at each other with all they had. DRAGANA gave it her best, but was unable to pull out the victory as JASMIN CAW managed to hit DRAGANA with the shot of CAW and picked up the win over the future Hall of Famer. The two finished off their match with a showing of respect as the two embraced in front of the crowd. Next up, we have Marcus McMichaels versus Kristen Garcia in a grudge match that has been brewing for quite some time now. Things started pretty slow for Marcus, as leading up to this match he was attacked previously by Garcia, who did some extensive damage to Marcus's left leg. Although Marcus was hurt, he put up one hell of a fight against Garcia. Unfortunately, it was not enough as Garcia managed to pick up the win over Marcus via tap out from the triangle lock. Next up, we have our OCWFED versus the World match, as we have the coward CODY HAGEN versus Castellanity's Chris Greene in somewhat of a match that has been created by the general manager Imp, following CODY HAGEN climbing the barricade and attacking Chris Greene and Cassidy Hayes. Chris Greene seemed to have some trouble competing with CODY HAGEN's size and strength at the start of the match. But soon Chris Greene found his pacing as he began to take the battle to the big man. Although CODY HAGEN had a great start, Chris Greene was able to pick up the win following the New York drive. Before Chris Greene had a moment to catch his breath, he was greeted by a flaming table at ringside that many know as the calling card to the last blacksmith. Next, we have the International Championship on the line as we have the Iceman, Nate Mack versus the International Champion CLAUDIO Stardom. The match started pretty heavily as CLAUDIO began to lay waste to the Iceman, giving him no room to fight back. What started as a royal ass-kicking on the Iceman's part seemed to change as the Iceman began picking up on CLAUDIO's skills. The two men went back and forth as the crowd stared on in anticipation. Although throughout the match, the Iceman looked to have the title in his grasp, he was unable to pick up the victory as CLAUDIO put him down for the 1-2-3, following a top rope chokeslam. Before CLAUDIO could take in his win, he was greeted by Kareem Franklin that not only went back on his deal with CLAUDIO, but also brought out the future Hall of Famer Antonio Everett, who laid waste to the international champion. On to our next match, where we have a family feud between the future idiots Jordan Trance and John Carter versus the family of Casey Barrett and C-Note, aka Greed. The two groups left fans on the edge of their seat as they both beat the hell out of each other to no end. The family took the future idiots to the limit, but was unable to keep up that pace as the future idiots began making a comeback that the family couldn't seem to slow down. The family did their best, but was unable to fight off the future idiots for long, as Casey Barrett was hit with some double-team action, followed by the Wrestle Bomb by John Carter for the victory. Next, we have North American Championship on the line, as we have Aisu fighting the North American champion Owen. The match started in Aisu's favor. Early in the match, he began working on Owen's arms, wearing the big man down as quickly as possible, weakening the North American champion's ability to chop if he is unable to swing his arms with as much power. Owen wasn't going down without a fight, as he began wearing down Aisu as quickly as he can. Although Owen seemed to have the win in the bag on several accounts, he was unable to get past Aisu's quickness as he puts the North American champion down for the 1, 2, 3. Your winner and new OCW North American champion Aisu. On to the next match. We have Larry Mugen versus Doc in a battle for respect. This match was a match most of the fans were waiting for most of the night. The Lord of the Lariat, Larry Mugen, isn't new to the ring, and his style of wrestling can heavily match most of his competitors, as many thought Doc's style would clash with the living legend. But the two put on one hell of a match, as Mugen and Doc competed in an anything you can do, I can do better type of matchup. Doc and Mugen gave each other everything that they had, but Mugen was unable to get the final touch on Doc, as Mugen was put down with the JJE for the final count. Next, we have the CCW World Championship on the line, as we have the mayor of Scumville Rex versus the CCW World Champion Innes Quartz in a blood feud rivalry. Rex and Quartz stared daggers into each other before the match bell, as the two men seemed to be unable to wait to get their hands on each other. Quartz quickly took Rex to the mat at the start of the match. Quartz was on top of Rex for most of the match, as Rex struggled to get into the action, although Rex was unable to get much offense started in the opening parts of the match. He unleashed an explosive level of damage on Quartz later in the fight, and was able to put the CCW champion down for a 1.23 after hitting the champion with his own finisher, the Black Phoenix, leaving Rex as the winner and new CCW champion. Before Rex could take in the glory of his win, he was greeted by yet another flaming table at ringside that brought light to the arena, revealing the last blacksmith standing on the stage. Now on to the last two matches of the evening. First, we have the OCW General Manager Imp versus the Women's Champion HARRI Etiquette. Many fans didn't know what to expect from this match, as Imp hasn't competed in a match since Red Sun Rising against Valkyrie. The matchup between Imp and HARRI started pretty equal as the two exchanged blows back and forth. Imp attempted to land some hard-hitting attacks while HARRI attempted to misdirect her opponent with a variety of kicks and flips. Both women left no stone unturned as they beat the hell out of each other, leading to HARRI pulling out the victory over Imp following an etiquette check and split-legged leg drop. Many fans were shocked and confused as Imp yelled at the referee to restart the match before spearing HARRI and getting a 3 count with the assistance of Tog, declaring herself the winner. And last but not least, for the 18th anniversary event, we have the main event of the evening, the French Blade Rust Cole versus the OCW World Champion Hell Harvey. This was a hell of a fight, as Hell Harvey went straight for the challenger with no hesitation. This isn't the first time these two have met in the ring, and this match showed that level of history as the two men went back and forth exchanging blows. The crowd was in mixed emotions, as the match could go either way. No ground was given, as both men knew each other very well, and took that information to the end of the road. Hell Harvey was only one riptide away from ending the match and continuing his reign as the OCW Heavyweight Champion. But Rust had the champion's number, as he was able to hit Harvey with the third alarm, picking up the victory and becoming the new OCW World Heavyweight Champion. That wrapped up the evening of events for the 18th anniversary event, leaving us wondering what is in store for the following Riot. I, for one, am excited to see what takes place. Usually, that would wrap up our show for the day. But wait, there's more. As we not only had the anniversary show, we had the Return of Ambition, which took place on February 28th. Let's get to it. First up, we have MINA V versus SHIANNE Lovelace in an intense battle that kick-started the evening. MINA V put up one hell of a fight but was unable to pick up the victory as SHIANNE hit MINA Vi with a love tap that left MINA in a different time zone. Next up, we have Victor KARMINE versus SCOTTY X in a one-on-one match. This is KARMINE's first return to the ring following his injury that was sustained from his attack by Quartz a few weeks back. It was a nice back-and-forth match between the two men that almost saw SCOTTY X pick up the victory, but it looked as if he tripped up a little while attempting a move and was hit with the question mark by KARMINE, giving KARMINE the victory. And next we have JADEN Hero versus SIMSIN. JADEN attempted to end things pretty quickly with a variety of kicks to SIMSIN, but was unable to get a foot in as SIMSIN had everything JADEN attempted scouted from the gate. SIMSIN began taking the rookie hero part one attack at a time. Hero started to make a comeback late in the game, but it was a bit too late as the damage by SIMSIN was already done, allowing SIMSIN to pick up the victory following a desecrator into a 3 count. And for the main event, we have Joe Deaver versus C-Note aka GREENE to wrap up the evening. The match between these two men started pretty high as both men exchanged blows trying to get ahead of the other man. C-Note was on top of his game as he pulled ahead in the fight against Deaver, hammering away at Deaver for several moments. On several accounts, C-Note seemed to have the match in the bag, but was unable to capitalize on the weakened opponent. Although C-Note seemed to have the match in his favor. Deaver had C-Note scouted and was able to pull out the victory following radio silence into a 3 count. The return of Ambition was highly received by the OCW universe and left fans wanting more. Currently, Ambition is set to have its second airing on March 28, 2023, with the main event of the show being listed as Hanzo Yamashita versus Chris Green. Wow, that was one hell of a rundown. For everyone that stuck around till the end, thank you. Unfortunately, we did not have the time to go over every moment or event during Ambition and the 18th anniversary during this show. But for further details on the matches, segments, events, and more, go to OCWFED.com. As for now, I have been your host, Tammy Young, and this has been The Turnbuckle. We'll see you next time.